From KTVN, this is 2 News Nevada, Morning Edition.
2 people involved in deadly DUI crashes have been given maximum prison sentences. How long they'll be behind bars is coming up.
And before you start hitting the water for boating season, the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency has some new boat restrictions. We're going to show you some of those rules coming up.
And there will be a decent amount of chop up on the water today with a lake wind advisory posted. On the details coming up.
Good Monday morning, and thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Kyle Louder.
And I'm Faith Justice. So glad to be with you. Starting our morning in crime beat, a man has been arrested for allegedly hitting and choking a woman with a metal chain.
So yesterday afternoon, Sparks police responded to North McCarran Boulevard near the Sparks Marina for a report of a violent disturbance. Now at the scene, officers found the victim and identified Alejandro Ayala as the suspect. While investigating, another disturbance was reported at a different apartment complex in the area. Officers say Ayala damaged a car in the parking lot. He has been arrested and is facing multiple charges, including domestic battery by strangulation and damage to property.
Also in crime beat, Lyon County deputies have arrested a Tier 3 sex offender for allegedly violating his registration requirements. The sheriff's office says 28-year-old Jorge Angel Madranjo of Fernley has been booked into the Lyon County Jail on a felony charge of violating sex offender requirements.
And in Story County, a 75-year-old man is facing a felony charge for allegedly violating his sex offender registration requirements. The sheriff's office says John Edwards was pulled over on Friday during a traffic enforcement stop, and deputies say Edwards is a Tier 3 sex offender.
2 men have been given the maximum sentences in 2 separate deadly DUI cases. The Washoe County District Attorney's Office says 59-year-old Javier Zambrano has been sentenced to 40 years in prison with eligibility for parole after 16 years. The DA's office says Zambrano rear-ended another car while speeding in 2023, causing the victim's van to drive into the freeway's guardrail, killing the driver. Zambrano drove away from the scene before police arrived. Jose Zepeda Carmona has been sentenced to 20 years in prison with eligibility for parole after 8 years after pleading guilty to DUI resulting in death. In 2023, Zepeda Carmona drove into a tree while driving 120 miles per hour. The DA's office says the passenger in his car was killed.
And a developing story here, the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency is doing a lot of work trying to get rid of aquatic invasive species in Lake Tahoe. And heads up, because this year they are really cracking down on boat inspections. Jaden Urban went up to the lake to see exactly how.
Boaters planning to take a trip out to Lake Tahoe will have to go through some extra steps before they launch into the water.
So what we've done this year is we're trying to strengthen the mandatory watercraft inspections to include a mandatory decontamination as well for any vessels coming from outside the area.
Once you go through that process, you'll get what's called a Tahoe-only wired seal. As long as your boat just goes to Tahoe, you won't have to go through the process again. But if your boat dips into other waters,
if you go to another lake nearby, Boca or Stampede, when you come back into the basin, you'll have to get that inspection and decontamination again.
And so these new rules and regulations are specifically designed for folks coming from out of the area into Lake Tahoe for combating a new aquatic invasive species that is not in Lake Tahoe right now, but they are keeping their eye on it.
There was a new invasive species discovered about 2.5 hours away from Lake Tahoe, and it's called the golden mussel, and it's the first time that this has been discovered in North America. So this has a potential to really explode in populations, and we know it's already spreading in the Sacramento and San Joaquin Delta.
If you need to get an inspection, there are a few locations around the basin.
This summer, we're going to have 3 regional inspection stations open that are kind of away from the lake to avoid kind of like crowding and at the boat ramps. So Myers, California, Spooner Summit in Nevada, and Alpine Meadows in California.
Cowan recommends making an appointment and getting that done before heading to the lake. You can find that link on our website, 2news.com. Covering the story, Jaden Urban, 2 News Nevada.
Good reminders there, especially as the weather gets nicer. People probably want to hit the lake.
And I believe that weather getting nicer is happening this week, Faith. We got to check in with meteorologist Angela Schilling. Angela, we got a great week on tap.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice week. The only thing is today it will be windy. So tomorrow will be a better boating day than today because today there will be some chop up on the water. So just keep that in mind. There is a lake wind advisory posted for both Tahoe and Pyramid today. Tomorrow winds will be a little bit lighter. And today in the valley, you might have to hold on to your hat a little bit, at least have a hair tie. Wind gusts will be into the mid-30s, so a touch windy today. Temperature-wise, though, not bad, right on target for where we should be this time of year. This morning will be in the upper 40s to about 50, 57 at noon, and 63 by the time you drive home. The high today will be closer to 65. Most of us will stay dry today, but could see some light rainfall on the western side of the Sierra, where it is lightly raining right now. It was a little bit heavier a couple hours ago, but it's starting to weaken here. We also still have a good amount of cloud cover, especially in the central portion of the state, and we're also seeing more bands of clouds move into the Truckee Meadows. We have a couple different fronts, one right now in the central portion of Nevada, another one into northwestern California, and both of those are providing us with some clouds this morning and some wind throughout the day. Off in the ocean, though, we have a really nice gap or window of dry conditions and quiet weather. So once we get past today, winds will be lighter and temperatures will be able to warm, but it's a warm start. It's even 52 right now in Carson City, 54 in Ferdley, and 40s around Lake Tahoe. So it's a warm start to the day and a touch breezy too, especially south of I-80. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Angela. Important heads up here for you. If you're getting ready to head out on your commute, a semi-truck that rolled over is blocking a lane of westbound I-80 at Mustang. We do have a live picture for you of what's going on here. It happened just after 1:30 this morning. Nevada State Police say the driver of the semi fell asleep and hit 3 power poles before overturning. There are no reported injuries, but they are expecting lane closures for an extended period of time, so expect delays, maybe plan an alternate route if possible.
And still to come on 2 News Nevada this morning, the fallout from President Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs continues. How Congress is reacting when we come back.